tough loss. I was really excited about coming on the show, so I was hoping to come on here and be yelling and saying, six of them things and talking about the win streak and I had it all in my head. And I think at some point, like with like 3 or 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, while the crowd was chanting "We want Bronny," I was like, "Oh, it's not about to happen like that." And so it's unfortunate, but it's one game. I feel like we've been playing so well recently that they've afforded, a loss just because we want to win every game. And I had this whole plan of 6 in a row and all this stuff. Doesn't mean that's how basketball goes. Yes, they were missing AD. You expect to win that game. But ultimately, I mean, it's a tough night for Jalen, an awful night for Jalen, honestly. Tough night for Cat. And those guys both play so well on a nightly basis that, like, I don't expect that to be a thing that continues. The Lakers schemed very well, and they executed their scheme, and we just missed shots. We missed, a lot in that fourth quarter, third quarter. We had a lot of shots just around the basket, typical little floaters, layups that just didn't stay down. At one point, it was a 5-point game. Dude's got a fast break, 3-on-1. He goes, takes it himself, misses the layup. They could have cut it to 3. They go down the other end, getting and 1. It's an 8-point game. They hit 3. It's an 11-point game. And so it's just like little things like that, like where they, like Alex said, we were kind of chasing that entire time in the fourth quarter trying to come back, and they just kind of kept us at bay a little bit. And then they were able to put us away, unfortunately. So it's a tough loss. You never want to lose these games. You want to be able to take everyone, and you want to be able to keep the win streak rolling. But I don't think that it's much of an indicator of like us as a team. Also, definitely a huge energy shift and loss when OG went down. That was strange, and then we were really worried because it was non-contact. So I think there's a bunch of different factors and variables. So this is one of 82, and you move on. New streak starts on Monday. New win streak starts on Monday. So.
Absolutely well put, Sean. Like I'm not stressed about this game. Some game you can't win every single game. The one thing I'm going to take away from this is that our 3-point defense just continues to be lackluster, man. We're dead last when it comes to just allowing teams to put up shots, and when they're drilling them, it just sucks because it's just a spiraling effect once teams are knocking down threes. And look, tonight Lakers hit 19 out of 40, so they shot essentially 48% from downtown. That should never happen, man. You should never allow a team to shoot 48%. I mean, 48, we're talking about essentially not too far from 50. The fact that they're even that close to shooting 50% from downtown, that makes me sick to my stomach. We got to figure out something to stop teams, because once teams are knocking threes, then you just see the rest of the defense just like, what do we do, guys? Like, we're just lost. So guys are just able to attack. You see guys just attacking out in transition, being able to work the half court and just get downhill, find their mid-range spots as well. And so 3-point defense just has to improve. It's just a constant story for this team, man. I'm getting sick of it, just because it's not just this season we've seen them have bad 3-point defense. We've seen it for many years. The difference is, like, we've had the defenses, like the defensive consistency on a night-to-night basis where we can overcome that. Now it's that if our offense isn't there, or if it's not the juggernaut that we're expecting it to be, and then other teams are just knocking down threes, a game like tonight, and even though the energy shifted once you lose OG, it's like we're still didn't have enough to keep up and to just, punch back and really land like the momentum shifter, that final blow to say, all right, this is our game for the taking. So 3-point shooting, man, they got to go back to the drawing board and figure that out. And we could talk about everybody closing out. You can go to Karl Anthony Towns just not closing out well. A lot of guys weren't closing out well. We left way too many guys wide open. I mean, we even had miscommunications on threes. You even see, I think it was in the first or second quarter, we were like, you see Brunson, I think, talking to McBride, like, yo, like, whoa, we got a guy over here wide open in the right corner. Like, what's happening, man? And so it's one of those things where it's just frustrating. The 3-point defense has just got to be better, man. I mean, according to Queen of the Glass, when it comes to accuracy, we are dead last. We can't be having none of that, Sean. We can't be having none of that.
Yeah, I feel like our defensive scheme, because like you said, it's been over the years, and largely it's like we're kind of daring you to shoot it, and we're playing the numbers game. But like, the numbers game hurts you when the team shoots 48%. So you like that number's gonna kill you. And so we gave a lot of easy opportunities, stuck to that drop coverage way too severely, and we weren't able to close out and get out to shooters. And then basically, basketball is very much mental, So it's like in the beginning of the game, you let teams get open shots, get open looks. They start seeing shots go down. Everybody's hitting shots. Now, even when you switch that coverage eventually and finally, they're already hot. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith was 5 for 6 from 3. I'm not going to lie. I feel like right now, if we go back out to the court and put nobody out there and roll the ball to Dorian Finney-Smith and tell him to take 6 threes, he's not going to hit 5. But you let people get confident. You let people get into a rhythm. and all of a sudden you got the Dorian Finney-Smith of the world hitting 5 or 6. You leave the player talking about Gabe Vincent wide open in the corner. Gabe Vincent does nothing else. That's what he's out here to do. You can't leave him wide open in the corner, but you give these guys these opportunities. You get guys hot, and you start they start feeling it. And that's what we ran into tonight. And on a night where we're not shooting well, it's even twice as bad to be giving up as many 3-pointers. I think that's our problem a lot of times. It's like, the teams start burying us with the three. I think we shot. What did we shoot tonight from three? Tonight we shot boom, 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 boom. My apologies. 10 for 28. So it's like we didn't even shoot 33s. We didn't even attempt enough, honestly. If you shoot under 33s, you're probably gonna lose the game. So that's something. We need to shoot more. And the Lakers, it's funny, I think on the broadcast they said the Lakers are 28th in the league in 3-point attempts, 19th in percentage. But it was very clear tonight. They got 43s up. JJ's a smart guy. LeBron is a smart guy. They know exactly what you're going to get against the Tibbs defense. They know what's going to be available. They know it's going to be open. And they spam that. They spam the actions to get those top of the key looks, knowing that we were going to be in drop coverage. And it was target practice from there. And you can't let teams have target practice because, practice makes perfect.
That's a fact. Practice makes perfect. And this is the thing, though. And this is like, you talk about it being a numbers game, Sean. And what bothers me is that, like, we can't play that game against good teams that can actually knock down the three, right? We saw, like, and I hate to have to go back to game 1 against the Boston Celtics because they aren't even playing the same way that they were the opening season, but it's teams like that, even the Cavs, like teams that can even knock down the three. Look, we played the OKC Thunder. They're not known for being a great 3-point shooting team. They just like to get into the paint, but against us, they were knocking down threes. And so I just hate this game of like, we're going to like, I hate that gamble of like, dare them to shoot it. Because this is the NBA, man. Like, guys can shoot threes. And it's like, it's not like they all like suck. You know what I mean? So it's just got to change. It's just got to change. But let's talk about the thing that I know everybody's worried about. And Daniel, I sent you the tweet from Ian Begley. Was the OG? I think it was in the second quarter. We saw it in the second quarter where it was a kick pass to OG on the left wing. And he gets the ball and he just, he takes a sidestep and then just drops down to like one knee. He doesn't. Tibbs calls a timeout. You see LeBron, Cat over there, like Cat's talking to him, holding him, seeing what's going on, just chatting with him. And then OG walks off, goes into the locker room, and we were waiting, obviously anxiously, for what the news was. Energy completely shifted from the Knicks because now you're just worried about one of your top guys on that team. Like, we're such a top-heavy team that if you lose any of these guys, like the championship aspirations that we have, like, it just makes you that more weary of like, can we do it? Especially when you're losing your best defender, like your most versatile defender on this team, right? We paid him $212 million for a reason, and so when you think that you're about to lose him, like the energy shifts completely. And so the fact that Knicks PR said that he strained his foot or sprained his foot, whatever the term is, and that now you have Ian Begley reporting saying that Tom Thibodeau said OG Anunoby's x-rays were negative on the right foot sprain. He said he doesn't know if Anunoby will get an MRI, and I'm sure that he will get an MRI. I would expect him to do their due diligence just to see what's going on there, so that way he doesn't get hurt even more, and that way you can actually give a proper diagnosis of how to treat and help him recover, so that way he can be available for the rest of the season and be here where it most, which is the postseason. So
Underdog Fantasy is the place to play if you're a fan looking to cash in on some of your favorite athletes' performances. Available in over 30 states, including New York, California, and Texas. Just call your shot on higher or lower on 2 or more player stats for your chance to win real money. Use our promo code KFTV for up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick. So download the Underdog Fantasy app today and turn every bucket into a W.
LD, unmute the mic, my guy. How you feeling today?
Alex, good evening.
Good evening, LD. How you doing today?
I'm great, Alex. How's your day?
Could be better, man. I wanted to see the Knicks defeat the Lakers,
So did I. I was watching the Knicks while watching the Royal Rumble. It was
nice.
Whatever. It was right. But I got a question for you, though.
Sure.
How did you feel when you saw what happened to OG? Before you saw the news, how did you feel watching OG?
I was frustrated, man, because frustrated just because his history of his injury history is just like, at this point, like we've been blessed that he even made it up to 50 games at this point, 49, 50 games. And then it's like, wow, he's played every single game, played a lot of minutes, up and down. Obviously, he's had his struggles, but starting off up to the Nuggets game, drop you the 40 points. After that, man was looking a little bit of a shell of himself. Get 3-day rest, looking great again. Then tonight, you're like, damn, really? This is the play? It's not like we've seen him fall off a dunk and stuff of that nature. I'm like, is this going to be the play? But then get the sigh of relief, to see the news. But we'll see what happens.
Do we have a sigh of relief?
I'm going to take it as a sigh of relief right now with a sprained foot. I'm going to take that right now until things unfold even more. I can't be stressing about things I don't know about, man.
I respect that. I respect that. Now here's the follow-up question, right? Because Alex, LD, and CP's history is minutes police talk, right? So now here's why I asked that question, right?
All
because
right.
when I saw it, obviously I got frustrated. But the first thing I immediately thought was, okay, that could be this season and next. Because an Achilles, if it was Achilles, it's the rest of the season and the next. No question about it.
Yes.
And the reason I bring that up is because we all know out of the five starters with the most minutes played, 4 of them are Knicks. We all know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all know everybody's been talking about the minutes. Fine. You don't drive 170 miles per hour on city streets because it will most likely lead to an accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same thing applies here. Them playing these many minutes does not guarantee injuries. It just most likely would lead to injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really consider what the cost of an injury is to the Knicks, especially with our starters, something like what happened to OG today, knock on wood, it's not going to be an Achilles. But if it was an Achilles, or if it is an Achilles, that's not just this season. That's next season too. And that's why when commentators are talking like, yo, Tibbs, we're not telling you how to do your job. But if we're looking at statistics, you got to slow down, boss. I mean, non-contact is typically something to do with something, right? That's the reason why we bring it up. It's not because we're trying to, dunk on the dude, but it just cost us so much more to lose one of these dudes, especially somebody like OG who's taking $40 million a year.
Yeah.
Imagine not having him for the rest of this season and next. It's chaos.
No, for sure. And look, I don't disagree with that. Look, and it's like it's a double-edged sword that we talk about, right? It's like I recognize that one, we would like to see these guys not go out there and play 40 minutes on a night-to-night basis. I can recognize that. I also look at the bench of like who's replacing him, and Precious wasn't doing well. Now he's playing better, so maybe you could say, all right, Precious can take some of that workload from OG because he plays the 4. But it's like earlier on in the season, did we really have a 4 that can go out there and do what he does? And he was so important. But to your point, no, for sure. If he goes out there and you talk about it's actually an Achilles, it's not. You can't even just think it's just this season and next season. It's also probably he's not going to be right until the season after that, right? So now you lose 2-3 seasons. You're going to your 3rd season. I totally understand that. Trust me, I do.
And then
but
we
I
can't
also
have this revolving door of okay, let's wait for Mitch to come back. Oh, somebody's out now. Oh, it's just we gotta. Injuries happen. AD didn't play today, but us, the Knicks, we got to focus on the Knicks. We cannot afford to lose players, especially the starters. So we actually have to be strategic with how we use these players.
So my question to you then is, what are you telling Tibbs to do outside of just saying, hey, because I feel like I understand where you're about to go. Say, hey, play these guys 32 to 35 minutes. That's what you're going to do. But is that something that you believe that's actually realistic that you could do?
Okay, so now I actually have a follow-up question to that. Do you think him moving to this 9-man rotation has anything to do with the front office steering a message?
See, I don't even know. I don't know. I feel like part of it, see, here's the thing. Because if it really was, I feel like Cam would have gotten even more minutes than he got tonight. And I think part of it's Cam only got 6 minutes. I think part of it's they got him these guys for him to use, but at the same time, they're also going to let him be Tibbs. And that it's and we've heard the reports of the front office being frustrated with Tibbs in the past and this stuff. I think they're just giving him full autonomy to do this. Cause I also think At the end of the day, they got to evaluate to see if he can be that guy to take him to the distance.
Right.
At the end of the day.
I mean, to answer your question, I'm not going to hold up more of your time, but I personally, this could just be my bias. Like I said last time, I think Leon has done his job, giving this man a championship roster. We can agree to disagree. I think Leon has done his job every single year he's been here to give us the best roster possible at that moment. And I believe after everything he did this offseason, he's given us a championship roster from 1 to 15 and G League. I believe that, because if this roster was under Eric Spoelstra or Ty Lue or Ime Udoka, we won't be having conversations about what we don't have. We will be literally focused on championships. That's what I believe, but it is what it is. I'm not going to hold you too long. I'll holler at you, tell CP to get off that party and come argue with me, man. I'll holler.
Appreciate you for calling in as always, LD. Appreciate you for calling in as always. People, rate that call in the chat. 5 being facts, 1 being trash.